Just wanted to show you guys a side-by-side comparison of two different Stealth Bomber clone frames and their builds. So you can build these out however you want, but this one on the left here I bought fully built from Alibaba, 15,000 watt motor, 3T, and then we have a 72 volt 49 amp hour battery with a 200 amp Sab-Moton controller. Over here we have a 100 amp Sab-Moton controller with a 5,000 watt QS motor and a 72 volt 40 amp hour battery. And the front fork is the same on both bikes. Got the KKE with compression and rebound. However, there's no air adjustment on the left side here. That's kind of a big deal. I think the DNM does have an air adjustment, so that's maybe one step higher than this one. But I decided to go with the rear shock. That's branded DNM Burner RCP 25. Compared to this bike, it's just got the KKE rear shock coil, but both rear shocks do have their compression and rebound adjustment. I don't know exactly how many clicks on each one, but it's a little over 10. What else? This one, I had the headlight and tail light with the turn signals pre-installed. I can kind of turn that on here. So, yeah, almost 1,400 miles. The cutoff for the brake is only on the right hand, so can't squeeze the left and get that brake light. But it does have regen braking with that Sab-Moton controller, so very programmable. You have a Bluetooth device that you can use and just connect to your phone through an app. So I like that I have that for both my bikes, and I only need one device. I did select to have the bike seat, but I also bought the motorcycle seat, which I haven't installed yet, but that's kind of what that looks like. It doesn't seem like it would fit well on this frame, which I was hoping it would kind of be interchangeable, but that's alright, not a big deal. If I do select to add that eventually, they gave you this little piece. It's going to be going that way, and I'll rest it on, but it's to help the gap with the bike seat, or sorry, motorcycle seat. I don't like it on without the motorcycle seat, so I keep it off. But yeah, just something to consider. That was included because I asked for it. They also included 2 different keys for this. The charger, which this one is not. I'd have to grab it. I don't have that charger yet, but let me see. Let's just talk about this bike over here. So 5,000 watt. I did, after 5,000 miles on this, my battery started to kind of go bad, and actually I should say my display like just made a pop noise one day, so I was like, okay, let me replace my display. So I bought that. For whatever reason didn't work, so I thought that was the controller being messed up, and the original controller, which was non-programmable, is a regular 100 amp controller, which is why I just chose to go with another 100 amp. But yeah, no adjustability, super sensitive throttle, and you could hardly change that sensitivity on it, so I felt like it was drawing too much from the battery and it just needed to have a better setup. So I didn't replace the throttle or anything. I just bought the controller, which came with this display as well. So I installed that. I took off the headlight that they gave me because it doesn't really fit well on the new fork, and it just wasn't bright enough, so I went to a wireless to clean up the wires here. But yeah, I added this little flap, or mud guard, but it came with that bike. It had something else that was kind of blocking here, but it fell off during one of my rides and I couldn't find it, so I just kind of left that on since then. But yeah, this is a 24 inch by 3.0 tire, and I've had to replace the tires since I got it. So I selected to go with the Halo Contra, which are about $40 per tire, depending on where you shop. Yeah, I just kind of added these little mirrors because I wanted to. I had to put a new headset in because I did have to assemble this bike myself. So I bent the bottom cup when I was installing it, so I just got a new one, and I was kind of going for the gold look. So I got the gold chain and then just the gold decals. But one issue were with the torque arm. They didn't send me the actual screws here to mount it into the frame for whatever reason. They gave me the torque arm and then they gave me some other stuff, but they didn't give me any screws here to mount it. So probably not the best setup right now because I need something a little better, but I just kind of put a bolt or a nut right there, put a screw through, tighten it down, so that's not gonna hopefully go anywhere. I wish it looked a little different though. Same thing on that side. It's just harder to show you, but I did upgrade to MT5 brakes. It came with XOD 2-piston hydraulic brakes. Those worked okay for a while. I thought the rotors were pretty bad. They got loud and overheated too quick. Tektro 2-piston for this bike specifically hasn't been all that bad because the motor has that braking function with that regen setting. So I've turned it on with this one too, so that also feels good. But I mean, the MT5s are noticeably better than any of the XOD, Tektro, probably Zoom, or whatever else people like to use on their bikes nowadays. So, but you're saving money if you're using any of those brands, so it's kind of the trade-off. I ride this off-road, so I just wanted to have the best braking power. Even after 5,000 miles, I did have to true the wheel a little bit. And some of these, I check every ride just to see if they're kind of wiggling. But overall, the wheel hasn't really lost any shape or started to bend after a ton of miles off-road. So yeah, I don't take it off jumps. I just kind of take it on some pretty rocky areas. So yeah, definitely abuse it. Surprisingly, I think these controllers are considered water resistant, or maybe they're waterproof. I have some silicone that I ordered, which I'm actually going to remove this tape now, but you can see it's probably not the best idea what I was doing there. I don't have the battery in, so I'm not going to hurt myself touching these, but yeah, this is definitely able to withstand a lot of water. I've sprayed this with a hose. I sprayed the whole bike with a hose. I mean, you definitely want to be careful not to get water up inside your frame just to prevent rust. I mean, my screws are getting rusty a little bit from the water, but yeah, this bike has been performing pretty solid since I got it. I think destroy the controller. I haven't confirmed it, but I think the display also went because that didn't work. So the controller display, so I had to buy that, which was around $300, I think, or maybe $350. And then I had to get a battery, which was $550. So because the stock battery wasn't able to withstand, I guess, the new power that the Sav Voton controller wants to put out. So I don't know. But what else? I mean, nothing to brag about with the chain tensioner. I mean, this is considered a derailleur, but you're not putting a shifting cable in here because it's both just one gear. And one thing to note, I can actually pedal this bike even with the battery in it. And I mean, it's just a little bit heavier, but it doesn't feel completely terrible if you do happen to maybe cut out or yeah, just break the bike. But yeah, compared to this one, I am not able to pedal it at all, even at a standstill. It just is very challenging. So getting home, you just have to walk it, and you could at least pedal that. So that's something to note. But if you're just looking for speed and comfort and reliability, I mean, I think, and you're not planning to do any off-roading, this is definitely the bike you want. Just for the sheer price, I didn't have to assemble this at all besides just putting a front fork on. Like this, I actually had to put together. So I mean, that's a big aspect for people. They don't want to have to build the bike. They just want to be able to just buy it, get it delivered to their door, and practically put the battery in and go. So yeah, I mean, just different things that you might want. So